God from a different perspective than God sees himself. Now, once in a while, Krishna sees himself from an interesting perspective, just like there's a description sometimes that he sees a reflection of himself in a body of water, and he thinks, who is that attractive young man? Wow. Or as Mother Krishna was talking about this morning in the literatures written by Srila Rupa Goswami, uh, he sees a play and someone else is playing his part. And he says, "Wow, that's an attractive person. Am I him or is he me?" Anyway, so Krishna, he wants to see his own beauty from his beloved's perspective. I mean, because that's actually even better than a mirror. Because in a mirror is sort of neutral, right? But if you could see yourself from the person who loves you the most, like if oh my God, I don't know if I should use this example. If a guru wants to see himself from his disciples' perspective, sorry about that. That's not a very good idea. That would be false ego. But Krishna wants to see himself from his beloved Srimati Radharani's perspective. Because that perspective is not a neutral perspective like a reflection. That's neutral, isn't it? I mean, I don't think my mirror appreciates me. This is not one of these movies where the mirror has something inside of it. So he wants to see himself, to appreciate his own beauty. Now you may say, isn't that ego? Well, ego is not necessarily bad. It's false ego is bad. False ego means to think, Ishwaroham aham bogi, siroham balavan sukhi. I'm the center, I'm powerful. As Krishna states, that's the demoniac consciousness. In the Bhagavad Gita, he emulates someone who has demoniac consciousness. Ishwaroham aham bogi, siroham balavan sukhi. And so that's false ego, thinking, I'm great, I'm powerful. But when you are great like Krishna, you are powerful like Krishna, you are omniscient like Krishna, you are most intelligent like Krishna, you are most famous like Krishna, then it's not false ego. That's called healthy bragging. And Krishna says, I'm the controller. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, mataksaram bhavartate. Everything comes from me. That's healthy bragging because it's true. There's nothing wrong with saying something true. So Krishna, he wants to see himself from Radharani's perspective and appreciate his own beauty. And in addition, he wants to have the enjoyment that his devotee experiences, right? Because a devotee is experiencing a different type of enjoyment than Krishna experiences. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, obviously. But a devotee has the bhakti for the Supreme Lord, which is even more enjoyable than being God. And so he wants to experience this. And then, in addition, he really wants to understand Radharani's love for him. Because to understand something, you have to do something called perspective taking, which means you put yourself in the other person's, I don't want to say shoes, from the other person's perspective. So Krishna has these desires. And in order to fulfill those desires, he appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he takes on the same color as his devotee, Srimati Radharani. Therefore, we say that his name is Gauranga, because he's golden hued. And that's Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's what's called the esoteric, the internal reasons for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. Now, what's called the exoteric, which means something that really affects us more than the internal reasons, is he comes to save us. As Prabhupada said sometimes jokingly, uh, Lord Chaitanya has come to save us, and as far as the men, he's come to shave us. Not all of you, don't worry. That was the early days when all the men had all that. So he's come to save us. Because when he takes on the mood of Srimati Radharani, and Radharani being the natural feminine counterpart of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uh, is very compassionate, is very soft hearted. And because of that, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, but he's more soft hearted than he ordinarily is. In the Bhagavad Gita, he gives us some instructions. Final instruction. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja ham tvam sarvapepo papabhyo moksha yashami masujaha. That you should surrender. But he doesn't tell you how to do it. I mean, for example, if I were to say to any of you, surrender to Krishna, okay. So I surrender. What does it mean? I surrender. Well, Krishna, give me this, give me that. I surrender. Krishna, give me this, give me that. So that's not surrender. So in order to teach us how to surrender, there's like a good teacher will make believe that they're learning a particular subject matter in order to teach the student, right? They'll say, now, class, how much is 1 and 1? And the class will have to answer. It's not that the teacher will say, 1 and 1 is 2. Okay, next course, 2 and 2 is 4. Okay, class dismissed. The teacher will ask the students as if the teacher didn't know. So, and set an example. As Krishna says in the Gita, yad yada charati shreshtas tatat evetaro janaha. That great personalities set examples, just like our spiritual master is Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada is known as an acharya because he set an example. If you want to know what it means to study and practice Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada is Bhagavad Gita. His life is Bhagavad Gita in action. That's what it means to follow Krishna's instructions. Otherwise, you read Bhagavad Gita. I read Bhagavad Gita before I came in touch with Srila Prabhupada. I didn't understand what I was supposed to do about it. Okay, Krishna says I'm the source of everything. Okay, Krishna says surrender. Okay, what does that mean? So you see Prabhupada, you read Prabhupada's Leelamrita, which we have, right, for sale. Where's the ditcha? Anyway, I'm sure the bookstore we have Leelamrita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and so many nice books. Prabhupada always insisted upon his books being displayed because he said people can go to a lecture, like you're sitting right now in a lecture, but actually taking a book, then you can imbibe the philosophy of what I'm talking about right now. So Prabhupada's life is an example, and Lord Chaitanya taught us by example what it means to be Krishna conscious. And one of the examples he set for us was the necessity of accepting a spiritual master. For example, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a young man, he did not show himself to be either a devotee or God. He acted like someone who was opposed almost to Krishna consciousness. What did he do? He would challenge. He was so intelligent, of course, most intelligent, he's God. He would challenge the people who were devotees to philosophical debates. And he would win. So it's very discouraging. You're a devotee, believe in Krishna. Okay, here comes this young, intelligent man. And so everybody started to avoid Lord Chaitanya when he was called Nimai, not Lord Chaitanya at that point, because he would basically defeat them. And they would pray to Krishna, Krishna, please convert this guy. If you can convert him, we'll have a good preacher on our hands here. Isn't it? And they were praying. And then when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted initiation from Ishwara Puri in Gaya, then he exhibited his pastimes as being the best devotee of the Supreme Personality of God. And also, sometimes he showed himself as God, such as during what's called the Mahaprakash Leela. And these are some of the pastimes you can read about in Prabhupada's books. Chaitanya Charitamrita, very important book. Prabhupada himself said there's 3 or 4 important books that everyone should read. There's the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, like that. Of course, Bhagavad Gita is Upanishad. Nectar Devotion, too. Yeah, forgot about Nectar Devotion. But Nectar Devotion, which is the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita details all these different stories about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So anyway, so when he took sannyas, then when he took initiation, then he showed himself as the Supreme Personality of God in many different ways. So that was the external mission. So the external mission, which I'm describing now, and the internal mission, which I previously described, are very much connected. You can't have one without the other. They're both connected to each other. So this is the meaning of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advented not only by himself, as Prabhupada would describe, that whenever God comes, he comes with his entourage. That means his associates. And we have the Pancha Tattva. Some of you have heard about the Pancha Tattva. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, that's Lord Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda, that's Balaram, appearing as Nityananda. Balaram Hoilanitai. Advaita, who is Sadashiva, and also Mahavishnu. Gadadhar, who is an expansion of Radharani. And Srivas, who is Narada Muni, representing us as Jiva souls. So he comes with all of his associates. Sango Pangastra Parshanam Yagyahi Sankirtana Prayar. Yajanti hi Sumedasa. Krishna Varnam. This is from the Bhagavatam. Krishna Varnam Tvisa Krishnam. Sango Pangastra Parshanam Yagyahi Sankirtana Prayar. Yajanti hi Sumedasa. That those who have sufficient intelligence, Sumedasa, instead of Durmedasa, in this age of Kali, they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yagyahi Sankirtana Prayar, with Sankirtan, with the chanting of the holy name. So the primary practice that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to us and gave the example of is the chanting of Krishna's names. Nama Sankirtan. Kali Kalera Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtan. And this is the Yuga Dharma. In each and every Yuga, there's a specific Dharma. And in the Satya Yuga, the Dharma was meditation, where people lived a very long life. And Treta Yuga, it was big sacrifices. In Dwarpa Yuga, it was opulent temple worship. We have temple worship here. We do sacrifices here, and we do meditation. But these are not our primary practices. Nor do we do them to the extent that they were done in the previous yugas. I mean, who here can sit and meditate for a few years? Very few of us. And meditate on Krishna, not just meditate on the sound of one hand clapping or a candle like that. So, and who here can do an opulent sacrifice with mountains of gold? Even in the previous yuga, the sacrifices were quite more opulent than they are today. For example, King Yudhisthira, he had to perform the Ashvamedha sacrifice, and this was done after the Battle of Kurukshetra, and there was no money, no gold, no nothing. So what was he going to do? Well, what happened is that there was this other sacrifice that was performed many eons before by this King Marut. And this king had given so much gold away, the Brahmanas couldn't carry it all. It's amazing. because the gold is meant to be given to the brahmanas at the end of the sacrifice. Now, I've had some experience that when I do a sacrifice, sometimes people put a little gold coin in and then they take it back. I remember did one, and there were like 5 gold coins, and I think, thank you very much. No, we were just purifying our gold. It's like people come, oh, I want to offer my car to Krishna, and then they drive away with it. So, so, so what happened is that King Yudhisthira sent his brothers to collect all this gold that was left over, so they could do this opulent sacrifice. And that's what's required. That was even in the last year where sacrifices were not such a big thing. So last year was big temple worship, opulent temple worship. Of course, we have a temple here, and we try to be as opulent as possible with a few flowers and leaf, a fruit, a little vegetable, tons of paneer. So, how many tons this time? I think there were, anyway, you don't want to know. 40 pounds for the feast. So, anyway, we don't have any Surabhi cows here. We have a Surabhi treasurer. So, so the only possible sacrifice to be done in Kali Yuga is Krishna Nam Sankirtan. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach this, and he got so many people to chant. Whoever saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became a devotee. Whoever saw the person who saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became a devotee. In this way, things expanded. So we are followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, specifically followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's primary next generation follower, whose name is Rupa Goswami. So this is who Lord Chaitanya is. Now, for those of you who have any doubts, I put together something very interesting. A series of quotes from the Vedic literatures. Now, when we talk about Vedic literatures, most people think Vedic literatures refer to the 4 Vedas and maybe the Upanishads. Of course, according to the 4 Vedas, that is especially the Rig Veda, which states, Itihasa Purananam Panchama Veda Uchate, that the Puranas, the Itihasas, are also considered Vedas, according to the Rig Veda. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you talk to some of these original Vedic scholars, and they'll say, oh, only the Rig, Sama, Atara, Yajur are Vedas. No. Then why do those 4 tell us that the Puranas, like Bhagavad Purana, Itihasa, like the Ramayana and Mahabharata, are also Vedic? Isn't it? What to speak of the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, because they were composed by the same person, Srila Veda Vyas. So, but for those who have any doubts, because I know people sometimes, we have a lot of people come to the temple and they have some doubts that, why do we say Lord Chaitanya is God? I mean, you have other groups who say that their particular personality is God or an incarnation of God or whatever. What is the proof? Because to accept someone as God, there's different qualities they have to have, and the primary one is they have to be mentioned in the Vedic literature, predicted. Not that I can show some magical, which I can't, but let's say if I could show some magical, as I say, walk on water, I could probably have people thinking I'm God. Right? I can't walk on water, unfortunately. You know, they're yogis with mystic powers. There's the siddhis, the 8-fold siddhis, where someone can make themselves very small. Or let's say Hanuman, for example. He's not God. He's a devotee. He's not Ram. He's Ram Bhakta. But he could make himself very small when he entered Lanka. What did he do? Very, very small. And then he punched Lankini in the mouth. You know Lankini? No, nobody knows who Lankini was the guard. She was a Heavenly Society lady who was cursed to become a guard of Lanka until she got punched in the mouth by a little tiny monkey. We all know the story. Hanuman made a little, it's tiny. Then he makes himself really big. He flies over the ocean. He's not God. He's a servant of God. So it's not simply enough to show miracles to be God. Yogis can show miracles. The main thing is you have to be accepted in disciplic succession and accepted in the Vedic literatures. So we're going to give some quotes here. I find these quotes quite interesting. I'm going to try not to be too pedantic about it, but at least we can hear some of them, and then this will increase our faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the understanding that he's the supreme personality of God. And many of these quotes were put together by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in order to accomplish the same purpose that I am talking about right now. So let's talk about the Atharva Veda. That's one of the 4 original Vedas, and the Purusha Bodhini Upanishad. This is very specific. And I'm not going to read the Sanskrit. In the 7th Manvantara, that's the Manvantara we're in right now, Manus. It's 14 Manus in each day of Lord Brahma. And so we're sort of in the middle of Lord Brahma's day, sort of like midday right now. Yep. 7 out of 14. These are midday. Summer. So the Supreme Lord will, accompanied by his own associates, descend in a golden form, and he will teach the chanting of the Lord's holy names. Also in the Atharva Veda, the Supreme Lord himself, and if anyone's interested, I can email them these quotes that contain the Sanskrit. So you can prove to all your friends that Lord Chaitanya is God. The Supreme Lord himself says, when between 4,000 and 5,000 years of Kali Yuga have passed, I will descend to the earth in a place by the Ganges shore. I will be a tall, saintly Brahmin, devotee of the Lord, have a golden complexion, and I will be renounced and free from all desire. I will eventually accept the order of renunciation, sannyas. I will be a devotee advanced in bhakti yoga. I will chant the names of the Lord. I will taste the sweet mellows of my own devotional service. Only the great devotees will understand me. Pretty explicit. But it gets more explicit as we go along. That means precise. In the Samaveda, it's one of the original Vedas again, right? Sama, Rig, Atharva, Yajur. To deliver the people devoured by the sins of Kali Yuga, I will, accompanied by my associates, descend to the earth in a place by the Ganges shore. I will be a Brahmana, Avaduta, Sannyasi. Again and again, I will chant the holy names of the Lord. To deliver the people devoured by the sins of Kali Yuga, I will, accompanied by my associates, descend to the earth in a place by the Ganges shore. I will be a Brahmana, Avaduta, Sannyasi. Again and again, I will chant the holy names of the Lord. In the Upanishads, it says, in the Kali Yuga, Lord Krishna will appear in a Brahmin's family, will teach the message of the Upanishads and the Dharma Shastras. He will defeat the atheists and offenders, and he will establish the truth of Vaishnava Dharma. So many, many quotes. Now here's the Bhagavatam, which is the Purana. Because in Kali Yuga you appear in a covered incarnation, you are therefore known as Tri Yuga. This is, of course, Gargamuni speaking. One who appears in only 3 yugas. And here's from the Adi Purana. My true identity will always be concealed. I will assume the form of a Brahmin devotee of the Lord. In this form, I will deliver the worlds. Just something more specific. Oh, here. In my original spiritual form, this is from the Puranas, perfect and complete, I will become the son of Sachi Devi in Navadweep, Mayapur, at the beginning of Kali Yuga. pretty specific. You can't get more specific than that because Lord Chaitanya was born in Mayapur, India, and his mother's name was Sachi Devi. And here's another one. In the first Sanja of the Kali Yuga, Sanja means the first portion of Kali Yuga. We're in the first portion, even though it may seem to be the last portion, if you read the news. The Lord will assume a golden form. First, he will be the husband of Lakshmi. Then he will be a sannyasi who stays near Lord Jagannath at Jagannath Puri. Very specific. In the Garuda Purana, the Supreme Lord, who enjoyed pastimes with the gopis, who day and night filled the people of Vrindavan with happiness, who killed Kamsa, and who, in the war between the Kauravas, made friendship with the Pandavas, will again come to the earth. Of this there is no doubt. His arm will be decorated with a bamboo danda, a stick. He will be a sannyasi, and his name will be Chaitanya. That's very specific. The Devi Purana, not only in the Vaishnava Puranas, but also in the Devi Purana, it states, the Lord will again appear in this world. His name will be Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and he will spread the chanting of the Lord's holy names. In the Shinga Purana, the Supreme Lord, who in the Satya Yuga appeared as a half-man, half-lion to cure the terrible disease that had ravaged the Daityas, who in Treta Yuga appeared as Ram, a person who defeated the 10-headed Ravan, and who in Dwapara Yuga removed the earth's burden and protected the Gopa people of Brajapur, that's Krishna, of course, will appear again in the Kali Yuga. His form will be golden. He will delight in chanting the Lord's holy names, and his name will be Chaitanya. See? You want to be God, you got to have your name mentioned in these places. Does anybody have their name mentioned in the Puranas here? I do. My name is Bir Krishna Maharaj. At least the part of my name is mentioned. It doesn't say what I'm going to do, that I'm going to be born in Long Island, New York, or anything like that. My mother's name is. So it has to be very specific. It's not a cheap thing to declare or to have people believe that you're God. I mean, God means the person who created everything, isn't it? The person who annihilates everything, the person who expands all the universes come from him. You know, that's God. And the person who's not subject to the threefold miseries. You never hear about God going to a hospital or having a toothache. Krishna one time made believe he had a headache, but that was to see the love of his devotees. You know, Krishna said, the dust of the feet of my devotees will cure my headache, and he sent Narada Muni out as the doctor to find out if there was any devotee who would be willing to give the dust of their feet. And nobody wanted to give except for the gopis. So, another one. In the Padma Purana, in the first century of the Kali Yuga, I will appear on the earth's shore in a beautiful place on the Ganges shore. I will on the earth, and I will be the son of Sachi Devi, and my complexion will be golden. Just one or two more. I just love these quotes. In the Narada Purana, it is said, O Brahmana, in the age of Kali, I will appear disguised as a devotee to the Lord who will deliver the whole world. Also in the Narada Purana, it says, O demigods, in the age of Kali, I will take birth as a devotee on this earth. I will appear as the son of Sachi in Kali Yuga to start the Sankirtan movement. So, I think that's all I have time for today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit in our class about the early pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the very attractive pastimes, which basically are in one sense very much reminiscent of the pastimes that Krishna enacted over 5,000 years ago. I mean, just to give you a little coming attraction, Lord Chaitanya was very naughty as a kid. Now, he didn't really go around stealing butter like Krishna did. But just to give you an example of his naughtiness, he would go to the Ganges while the Brahmanas were saying their prayers, the Sanja prayers, and he would dive under the water and pull their legs out from under them. Those poor Brahmins. And he would also, like, there were girls bathing in the Ganges. He would put all these sticker things in their hair, and he would threaten them, saying, basically, you should worship me instead of worshiping these demigods. I'm the supreme personality of Godhead. Unless you worship me, I curse you. That in the future you will marry an 80-year-old man with 3 or 4 co-wives. So he was really interesting. And then the interesting thing is that his friend, and not his friends, but the brahmanas and the girls, they would go to complain about him, go back to his parents and complain. But he took a different path back to his home, and he was so intelligent that he covered himself with a chalk or whatever they used to write with, and he cleaned himself up and everything like that, so it didn't look like he had bathed in the water. And they were complaining, and then he arrives back seemingly from school, and they're complaining. They say they're complaining about him. His parents ask him, "What's happening?" And he says, "I just went to school." So it's very, very tricky. And you may say, "Well, why is God so tricky like that?" Well, he enjoys these different rasas. Humor, like one of the qualities of Krishna, is his dear Lalita. That means he's very playful and humorous. He has other qualities like dear Prashanta, dear Datta, dear Nata. These are the 4 primary qualities which are mentioned in the Nectar Devotion. If you want to read about these things, you can get yourself a copy of the Nectar Devotion with the Ditya Prabhu will get. So we have the Nectar Devotion we advertised today, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Prabhupada Lamrita. You can see, and these are all such interesting books. And the Chaitanya Charitamrita deals with all these pastimes, many of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya when he was very young. Very tricky. So he was very tricky, very humorous, because he enjoys that sort of exchange with his devotees, and also to attract us. We want to be attracted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because when we're attracted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we lose our attraction for things that are temporary and ultimately won't give us happiness. That's described by Krishna in the Gita as raso varjam rasopirsa param drishtavartate, a higher taste, a higher happiness. So we advise you all to read about these pastimes. Tomorrow we'll speak more about these intimate pastimes. Today was more of a philosophical understanding about Lord Chaitanya, so that everyone can be convinced we are all worshiping the bona fide Supreme Personality of Godhead. You understand? And we worship him by Krishna Nam Sankirtan. It's blissful. Dina Hina Yatra. It doesn't matter what your background is. You come to Lord Chaitanya, he accepts you. Whatever your caste, creed, religion, race, it doesn't matter. You just chant. Chant the holy names, follow a few principles, and then back to home, back to God. That's all that's required. It's such an easy process in Kali Yuga. So, all right, now it's time for the play, right, Aditya? See, if you're interested in any books, there's Aditya Narayan Prabhu back there. There's special discounts today, right? For what? How much? What? Oh, it's too cheap to announce, because you have to buy it first, then you'll find out how much it costs. Just give me your credit card, and you'll find out later on. Okay, so next is the play, and some announcements first. All right, so thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glory, by whose mercy we're able to understand Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his disciplic succession. Haribol.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for such a wonderful, enlivening class. And towards the end, as you said, that we're going to discuss the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tomorrow, my heart was saying, let's skip by these next 24 hours so quickly so we can get to Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Haribol! But of course, we have to respect time and we have to respect all the activities that have to happen in the next 24 hours. So thank you very much, Maharaj. What a wonderful, enlivening class. I just can't wait for tomorrow's class. Haribol! So as Maharaj says, we are going to have the play downstairs. But before we do that, just a few quick announcements. The very first one is today's feast, the opulent feast, has been cooked by His Grace Apurva Prabhu and his team. Let's give him a big Haribol! 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 Apurva Prabhu ji has been cooking for decades, decades and decades now. And for how many? 50 years. For 50 years, Apurva Prabhu has been cooking. Haribol! And for those of you who know how his cooking is tastes like, you know what to anticipate downstairs. And for those of you who don't know, you better go downstairs and find out. Haribol! Thank you very much, Apurva ji. Hare Krishna. So we have a few devotees who have sponsored various items today as well as for tomorrow. Let me just read through the names and then we can give them all a loud Haribol. Parag and Sonali Mataji, Abhinav and Achal Mataji, Abhishek, Shashank, Anvesha, Vikrant Srivastava, Prabhu, Mogi and Hiresh Prabhu, Sanjay Prabhu, Priya Prabhu, Hemant and Gopika Mataji, Brajeshwari Radha Mataji, Anonymous Feast, Rohini Nandan Prabhu and Bhavamai Mataji. Let's give them all a big Haribol. So we have sponsorship opportunities available. So you will notice one of the things we do this every year, is tomorrow our lovely beloved deity Sri Sri Radha Goloka Nanda, they are going to be in a new outfit. The outfit is going to be a new one. And so if you're all feeling inspired to sponsor that outfit, the sponsorship is $301. Please raise your hand and sponsor the new deity outfit. Haribol! We also have the feast sponsorship for $301. Anybody here feeling inspired to sponsor the feast or the outfit? You can also approach either Adityanand Prabhuji, Mother Leela Shakti, or myself later, and you can sponsor. We also have DD Jewelry and DD Flowers for $251. Any sponsorships for DD Jewelry and DD Outfit? Pardon me, DD Flowers and DD Jewelry? Okay. And then we have Maha Arati and Maha Abhishek for $108. You can sponsor that as well. So as we are going to go downstairs for the play, I just want to make sure everybody is reminded of this, this item, that we take children's safety very, very seriously. We see that there's going to be children around in the hall downstairs, as well as after the play and the dance drama, and around Shadam time, we'll see children playing outside. Please do make sure that there is an adult, there is your parent of the children who are out there to supervise them. We are very, very concerned, making sure all the children are safe and that they are being supervised. Thank you. And tomorrow's schedule is, we have the program starting at 4:30. We'll start off with bhajans and kirtans. At 5 o'clock, we'll have Maharaja's class, continuation of Lord Gauranga's glorifications. We'll hear about pastimes. At 6 o'clock tomorrow, we are going to have the Maha Abhishek of Panchatattva deities. So that's a really, really wonderful thing that we are looking forward to. And then at 7 o'clock, we'll have Aarti and then Mahaprasadam after that. So this is a grand festival. It's a 2-day festival. Today is just day one. And tomorrow is the main day of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki! So we have, thank you very much, Kardamani Prabhuji. We have a sponsor, we have his outfit, the DD outfit is sponsored in the name of his parents, Sri Pinak Chandra and Subhadra Ben Joshi Mataji. Thank you very well. Hari Bol! So thank you all very much for your wonderful presence in celebrating this great festival today. And we look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. We're going to have so much of ecstasy, so much of kirtan, so much of abhishek and wonderful prasadam and darshan of the deities. Everything will be so wonderful in addition to the class, the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Brijesh Prabhu is sponsoring feast for tomorrow. Hari Bol! Thank you, Prabhu. Are there any other sponsors? Any other sponsorships? Anyone? Sorry, I didn't see on this side of the room. Yes, Prabhuji. Arati, and your name? Karthik. Karthik for Arati. Hari Bol! Anyone else for the sponsorships? Okay, we have one more thing. We have one more thing, and that is we have devotee birthdays for this week. So this is one of the say we sponsor the Abhishek. Hari Bol! You got anything? Hillel. Thank you, Hillel. So we have devotees' birthdays this week, and what we do is we have this sheet printed. A copy of this is on the altar, and our Pujari Kardamuni Prabhuji, he actually reads out these names and prays to Lord Nrsimhadev for the protection. He prays to Panchatattva for devotion, and he prays to Sri Sri Radha Golokananda for the overall spiritual welfare of the devotees whose birthday falls in this week. And what we do is we all get together as here, and then we all chant Hare Krishna. So this week we have Sriniket Anand and Akshay Vasudevan Prabhu, Anand Parthasarthi. We have Sahil Yarkola. We have Vinoda Kovida Prabhu. I think he's in the Lotus room right now. And we have Kalos Nater and Rutvika Paladugu. So these are the devotees who are celebrating the birthday this week. Let's all chant for them. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you would like to sign up for your birthday or your family's birthday, please scan the QR code at the bottom right of this sheet. Your form will pop up, fill it out, submit, and you will be in the system. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So before we go down to the drama, as Maharaj announced, this entire Chaitanya Charitamrita set, this is actually a miracle how it actually came in production. You know, any average book, to get it printed, to get it typed, to get all the book ready, every book, it takes months to years. But the entire set of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which actually consists of 9 books, was printed and ready for selling in just 2 months' time. All the 9 volumes of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is a miracle how this book even came out, right? And all over the world, we are actually now, this is a time when we have Nityananda Trayodasi and Gaur Purnima. We encourage everyone, get a full set of Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you don't have one, today is the day, get a full set. And as Maharaj said, today we are giving special discounts. You should stop by the table. I don't want to announce here. Stop by the table, and there's a special discount just today. So please get a set if you don't have it. Today is the day. We have it in, like the original texts are Sanskrit and Bengali with English translations. But we have also the translations and purport in local Indian languages like Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu, etc. Right? So please get a full set. We actually, at the starting of the year, we made a goal of distributing Chaitanya Charitamrita sets, and we are very close to reaching our goal. So if you all help today, today is the day we can smash our goal. So please do help us. If you already have a set, you can consider giving a set as a gift to your friend, or you can sponsor a full set. A full set is $108, but a special price is there today. Okay. And just one last thing. Next Saturday is so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Maharaj was explaining, actually came to actually inaugurate the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is a special gift that we all have received. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked us, we actually take to the chanting and we give it out to others, right? So next Saturday, there's a very special opportunity to share this Hare Krishna Mahamantra to thousands of people. Thousands of people. So next Saturday, there's the St. Patrick's Day parade in Raleigh downtown. And every year we actually have a Rath Yatra. And with the Rath Yatra, we have this whole group singing the holy name and giving everyone the darshan of Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. So next Saturday, starting at 9:30 in the morning, please do join us. We'll have more information being sent out through our email and WhatsApp group. But please mark next Saturday, 9:30 in the morning. We go out, there's Jagannath Rath Yatra, and then we actually spread the holy name. Give everyone that special gift that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought out. Okay. Haribo! Haribo! Thank you so much. So right now we request everyone to proceed downstairs, and the sooner we can go and take our seats downstairs, be settled. As soon as we get settled, the drama is ready to start. So we request everyone, please, proceed downstairs and please get settled in the Prabhupada Hall. So we'll have drama and a dance performance and a wonderful prasadam feast for everyone. Thank you so much. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, His Holiness B. Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki, Hare Krishna.